How's it going, everyone? Right in the eye here, back to you guys with another video. In today's video, I thought I'd shift my focus from the AMD spectrum of graphics cards over to the NVIDIA side of a card that I believe has been a little bit under the radar, besides a couple media outlets doing some really nice videos of them. And this card has been out for a little while. It isn't in any means newer than any of the releases of any of the AMD cards, but it's a card that I particularly am very fond of. And I actually run two of these cards in my system. So today we're going to take a look at the EVGA GeForce GTX Titan X Hybrid 12GB GDR5 Air/Water Hybrid Cooled Graphics Card. And this card, like it states, it is a hybrid, so it comes with an all-in-one 120mm liquid cooler hooked up to the GPU, and then the VRMs, MOSFETs, and power deliveries are cooled by the actual blower style fan. I purchased two Titan X graphics cards on my own. So one of them is a card directly from NVIDIA with the nice black box, and the other one is an EVGA card stock, just an EVGA card that I got from a Micro Center, not overclocked or anything. So they're both exactly the same performance, just different board partners, or I guess EVGA is the partner, and then NVIDIA would be NVIDIA as the actual holder. And I purchased upgrade kits and upgraded my Titan X reference cards to hybrid cards. So I installed the shroud that you see there, as well as the hybrid cooler, which was a very seamless installation if you just follow the instructions very well, and as long as you have the right tools to actually install that. And you can see that video. I will link that video down in the description below. And I just wanted to say a couple things. That this card is actually very well when it comes to keeping temperatures around and inside your case very cool. Remember that the heat is not exactly eliminated from the card. You don't eliminate heat when heat is being produced. This just implements that heat dissipation in a different way, therefore keeping your card cooler than just a blower style fan blowing air on the card. You actually have it traveling through water, through a cold plate, and into a radiator, and then that radiator being cooled by fans. So my setup, I have, and I'll shift over here, I have it in the 780T case, the black and red edition. And my primary card, the card that is in the top slot, that does most of my work, which is my NVIDIA card, it runs in the first spot of the Gigabyte Z97X Gaming G1 motherboard, and the fan and radiator is placed here in this exhaust port on the 780T case. I have a push-pull configuration of two SP120 red LED fans from Corsair hooked up to on the radiator in push-pull configuration, and it's exhausting air out the back. So that is my primary exhaust in my case, and I realized that it's through a radiator, which is why I went with push-pull configuration, to make sure that I can get all the air that doesn't need to be in my case shoved out the back. And there is a vent up here on the top that also can remove air, but it would do it passively instead of actively. So this is the primary exhaust in my case. I do have a 360mm Origin PC, high performance PC's Frostbite 360 radiator at the top there, and that is also intaking air in. So it's taking air from the outside of the case on the top and bringing it in. So that's heating up this area, not significantly, but it's enough air. And I do have that with push pull. So I have the the Origin PC fans on the top pushing air in the radiator, and then I have Corsair AF120 red LED fans underneath the radiator, pulling that air out. And I use airflow fans because it will dissipate the heat in more of a straight line rather than spreading it all out the case. So it just goes straight down, and then there's also two 140s here that come with the case that are blowing all this air out the back. So the airflow is moving in this way, and then being pushed out that radiator. And it doesn't really give me that higher temperatures on my card. And the difference between the card temperatures on the top card, and like I said, I have two Titan X cards, and the second card, which is in the third slot of my motherboard, so two double space in between. And it is here, and the radiator is placed. I've removed this hard drive dock, and it's placed here in the front of the bottom of my case. And then there is another 120mm fan in open air space right here, and excuse me. And the this radiator is bringing air from underneath the case. So this radiator and the radiator up on top is dumping hot air into my case. Yes, but there is two 140s, and you have to remember that the blower style fans on the hybrid graphics cards also act as an exhaust for the interior air of your case. So if anything, the two fans on the front here are blowing the air that's coming from this graphics card in the second slot right out, and then it's being sucked into the graphics cards, which is only cool in the MOSFETs and stuff like that, right out the back. And if it reaches up into this airspace, so there's air coming down, air coming up, and air coming forward, and being driven all out the back in either this radiator, through this radiator, or the two hybrid blower fans from the card. And this case is set up, if I go through some other pictures, to have a different type of airflow. It's supposed to bring it all in from the front and the bottom, and then push it all at the top. This is just what my case looks like. Sorry, let me just cycle through. Getting double pictures, sorry about that. But it's supposed to have air coming in from the front and then being delivered out the top. Personally, I don't really like it that way because I feel like everything should be getting its own fresh air. Of course, I couldn't really do anything with this fan here. But that graphics card I do have hooked up into the inline fan controller, and it is push-pull configuration. So it's getting, I can cool that one down just by increasing the inline, the case fan controller from speed 1 to speed 3. If I increase it to speed 3, I can get the temperature of the primary card, and both cards actually, because both fans in the push configuration on the radiators, both of them are push-pull. All my radiators are push-pull, but are in control with the fan controller, so I can up that speed higher, which gives me more sound, but I use headphones, so it's not too bad. But I can decrease the actual temperatures of the GPUs around 5 to 6 degrees Celsius just by speeding up the push fan on the radiators. And I believe that everything should, especially your CPU. Your CPU is detrimental when it comes to keeping cool, especially when you're running games at 4K like I am at max settings, at least 60 FPS. So I use the 4790K overclocked to 4.7 gigahertz with a 1.321 voltage, and my CPU doesn't get anywhere higher than 80 degrees under IDA64 stability test on the RAM and the CPU, so you know, max load. It doesn't reach anything higher than 85 because the radiator is pulling fresh air to itself. I don't believe that the radiator should be exhausting the hot air from in the case. So I believe it's set up this way on purpose. And Origin PC, if you haven't looked them up, they set up their cases the same way. They have air coming in from the top and then going out the back. It's just simple as that. Alright guys, this has been Right in the Eye here, talking about how I believe the EVGA, GeForce GTX, Titan X hybrid cards are very good graphics cards when it comes to liquid cooling your graphics cards with a closed loop all-in-one liquid cooler. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can dislike if you have any other feedback and leave those down below. I have a video of my completed build, and I will show you in that video how everything is set up, and I will have that link in the description below. Thank you guys very much for watching. This has been Right in the Eye here. See you in the next one.